Round 9 of the ChampCar iRacing series is live on HJBC and ChampCar Live. This is the official iRacing sim racing competition of the ChampCar Endurance Series. We have great racing, we have great prizes on offer. Can't wait to see what happens today at VIR, Virginia International Raceway. Bringing you live coverage, David Haynes with Devin Peters and Michael Derby. It's a beautiful day for racing. Not too much wind, great air temperature, bit of sun out, partly cloudy, 20 turns of America's Nordschleife ahead of us. It's a great track, so many famous corners, a real challenge for the drivers, so we can't wait for them to all get into it, Devin.
And all of them it is. We have a gigantic field churning out today. Must be a bunch of guys getting excited for the Lifeline 24 coming up. And they've all decided to come out and practice today with all their friends from the ChampCar Virtual Series and the ChampCar Real World Series who've shown up tonight. And they're going to put on a heck of a show, I got to think.
That's certainly the plan. So ahead of a 1 hour race, we've just got qualifying underway right now. Michael Polasek, he's the championship leader. He's also up the top of qualifying right now from Joshua Soto, Ryan Puchtel, Tim Wyer and Ian Giebler. Certainly a bit of traffic happening in front of Polasek as he looks to go through the roller coaster. So many famous corners around here. The Oak Tree, the roller coaster, the climbing S's, the Hog Pen even is where Polasek goes to now.
Yeah, and just flowing down and knocking off another lap. Qualifying, just a few minutes left, 5 minutes left, and Polasek showing that he's got what it takes to lead another one at this early stage. But with the big field out here, you got to think that Polasek will be having to contend with a lot of traffic during the later phase of the race.
It's entirely possible. Joshua Soto is in the second place right now. He's just begun another lap here. So the hairpin turn 1 and then a sequence of fast left-handers, then braking a little bit at NASCAR and left hook. And of course, 3 different cars in play across different races this season. So we're racing the Toyota GR86. We've had the Mazda MX-5 and the BMW M2. It's Toyota GR86, mostly similar to the road car. What it does have actually is pretty wide, slick tyres on it that sort of separate it from the road-going car.
It's also got a big old fuel tank, but we've handled that by limited how much driver or fuel the drivers can have at the start of the race. But on the other hand, that means that the pit window here is going to be pretty wide. So we will be expecting drivers to take a wide variety of strategies to reach the end of the race today. And with the impact that traffic can play around here, I got to think that drivers will take advantage of that, because you don't want to get stuck in the wrong crowd of traffic as you're trying to set the fastest time in this race.
Track temp's just beginning to climb a little bit. At the start of the broadcast, we showed you that officially today is partly cloudy, but the part that isn't cloud is where the sun's shining through right now, heating up the racetrack. Not everyone is going much faster. Alex Albert just falls short of a PB right there. So 207.5 is what he's trying to go quicker than. And then the track temperature goes up 1 more notch just while we're looking at it as well. So that has a chance to hurt drivers' possibility to improve. So did Alex Harrison running off the road hurt his opportunities a little bit. Over to Ryan Puchtel, the driver currently in 3rd.
These upper S's are intimidating in any car, especially once they start trying to do them too wide during the race. South Bend. Another corner that tests your metal. An oak tree. R.I.P.
Yep. The old iRacing scan still had the oak tree at the apex of the corner. This updated one does not. It's gone. I think even the old version of VIR on iRacing is gone. You can't even go back and check it out. Well, Ryan Puchtel was third. He's been displaced. Jared Collins has gone up to third. So Puchtel, who we were watching, seeing how his timing was going, but Jared Collins has been able to pull something out of the bag a little more special.
Yeah, quality lap, and we saw both Puchtel and Collins go even faster than that during the warm-up. So we'll see if they're able to tie one together and make it all work. They're long laps around here. Lead of the field is running around to 206, and so there's plenty of opportunities, plenty of corners where people can make up just a little bit of time, and you really get a sense of how grand and sweeping the track is from that camera angle as Jared Collins goes through Oak Tree leading. That's the car. Who's that behind him? I can't see.
I'm not sure.
Kevin Collins, there you go. I was going to say, that looks like the elder Collins behind him. Maybe getting some pointers.
Jared Collins with the flag of the USA, Kevin Collins with the flag of Latvia. Make of that what you will. Checkered flags on qualifying right now, so laps that drivers are on, that's going to be the end of it. That's going to be all. Although the timing line is a long way out of the final corner, so it's basically at the pit out end.
Yeah, and it turns to the right all the way down, so you kind of want to keep it stuck to the pit wall to maximize your lap time. Minimize your lap time, perhaps, more accurately.
Logan Sennhauser just needs 17 thousandths of a second to move up another spot. That's the margin him to the next driver. So he needs to improve on a 208.6. And he will with a 208.5. Moves him up just a couple of positions into 25th. Right at the end there for Logan Sennhauser. Oh, no, mate, you can't go out there.
He's certainly going to give it a try.
Puchtel on the pit entry at the end of the session. Pit lane speed here about 37 miles an hour. Joshua Soto has gone well wide of the hog pen. And in the race, you can't enter pit lane that way without getting a penalty.
Soto's got some pace, though. He might give Polasek a little bit of a run here. Polasek's got a lot of pace in everything we've been racing this season, though, so he'll be hard up against it.
So that was everyone who was on track. 1 hour race soon to come here at VIR.
It's just so nice to see cars rolling around this beautiful facility. One of the many tracks in the iRacing series that, or the ChampCar iRacing series, that you can go and practice on in the simulator and then take that experience to the real world. And it's one that holds a dear place in our hearts, Dave's and I's, because this is where we made the transition from virtual cars to real cars.
What were you going to say, where we shared a tent in 2017?
Well, I mean, that too. I haven't checked to see how well modeled that campground is, but I suspect that it doesn't capture water the same way the bottom of our tent did.
It was hot and it was humid, and so was the weather that weekend. That's the end of qualifying. About to grid up. So this is what the grid is going to look like. Michael Polasek fastest in qualifying. out front. Joshua Soto just behind him, then Jared Collins and Ryan Puchtel. All season, it's kind of felt like it's been those four guys inside of the top four. Then Tim Wire in 5th, Ian Giebler in 6th, David Levine in 7th, Alex Albert 8th, Nick Love in 9th, and Kyle Robertson is the top 10. Justin Wilson in 11th with Alex Harrison in 12th, Ryan Carwile 13th, Bill Woods 14th, JD Daniel 15th, Rick Wishon in 16th, Bowie Sewin in 17th, Michael Chase 18th, Mitchell Booth 19th, and Matt McGee in 20th. Then Orlando Herrell in 21, Aaron Brown in 22nd, Juan San Miguel in 23rd, Andy Kosick 24th, Logan Senhauser's 25th. We saw him just improve fractionally late on in the qualifying session. That jumped him ahead of Sean Roberts in 26th and Christopher Reagan in 27th, Aaron Reed in 28th and Kevin Collins 29th, LaShawn Young-Dilworth in 30th. The field of Toyota GR86s continues with Cameron Senhauser in 31st, John Nicholford in 32nd, John Hurley is 33rd, Zach Balthazar is 34th, Will Warren is 35th ahead of Brian Tidd in 36th, then Kevin Glass, Curtis Lee, Jeffrey Rockwell and Nicholas Sasak in 40th. 3 other drivers. Steve Hermé was the last driver with a qualifying time. Chase Barry and Bill Salen didn't set one. Full pace lap here at VIR. We get a 2-wide formation behind the Ford Mustang pace car on pit road. Here it goes, and here comes the field. Really tall first gear for these Toyota GR86s. They don't actually like getting away from a standing start. They don't have the road car gearbox. They have a racing sequential, and it's got racing ratios in it. So first gear is actually very tall. Not great at all for, going through a McDonald's drive-through. This is round 9. Let's look at the schedule for this year. Began at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Daytona International Speedway, Alton Park, Road Atlanta, Watkins Glen, CTMP, Sebring, Barber. Here we are at VIR with just Mid-Ohio, Brands Hatch, and Road America still to come. And we've got Team Enduro still to come. So mark them in your calendar, get your teammates together. Going to be 2-driver races. Around the oak tree and onto the back straight we go. Looks like 42 or 43 are on the track. There's also a chance that Kyle Robertson's not on the grid. No?
Yeah.
No, he is. He's there. He's there. I can see him in 10th. Mm-hmm. That'd be the left row, 5. Left-hand column, 5 rows back. I can see him.
You can see some of the challenge, though, here at VIR. It's such a narrow track, and going too wide is tough anywhere, even on the pace lap. So these guys will have to really work hard to keep it compressed as they come to the green flag.
So we're about to have the pace car in and about to have 60 minutes begin. There goes the Mustang, slowing down at the pit entry. Michael Polasek on the right-hand side. Green flag waves, and we begin. Short run towards the hairpin, turn 1. Michael Polasek already moving ahead. Jared Collins moving up as well on the right-hand side. Big braking zone into 1. So much weight on the nose of the car, and Collins is through in a second. A lot of drivers in the right-hand lane have actually made some gains through turn 1. Joshua Soto from second. Doesn't seem like he got away particularly well.
Yeah, tough start for Josh.
But a perfect one for Michael Polasek to try to control from out front. Nick Love's made a couple of spots. I can see him battling side by side with Ian Giebler through the lower S's here. So a top 6 breakaway as 7th and 8th go side by side, and there's more side by side behind them as well, with Alex Harrison alongside Kyle Robertson. Now through the upper S's, Giebler just sneaks across in front.
Yeah, pretty clean start, all things considered.
The oak tree, Justin Wilson just around the outside and behind Alex Harrison. There's Alex Albert, has a bit of a slide, catches it up though, so as long as you get a good drive off the final part of the oak tree onto Madison Avenue here, you're going to be okay. High speeds, slipstream coming into effect. Michael Polasek, the race leader, just slightly being closed up.
Alex Albert, one of 2 past champions on the grid today. Got Josh Soto running wherever he is right now. I guess he's not second anymore, but gridded second. Oh yeah, he's still second. Third. The producer proves me wrong.
It's about to be one lap completed. Michael Polasek leading this from out front right now. Jared Collins, Joshua Soto, Ryan Pucktill is that top 4. Tim Wire and David Levine behind. So much action around Ian Giebler and Nick Love. Nick Love's pushing him along now down towards turn 1, and then Kyle Robertson got through into 9th. And Alex Albert, who breaks pretty deep into turn 1. Ryan Carwile making some moves there, and then to the inside of Justin Wilson. Looks like JD Daniel alongside him.
It's tempted to go inside in turn 1, but it gets you in trouble when you're going into left hook here. NASCAR. Oh, and he makes a little bit of contact. He's trying desperately to hold the right side, and he does, but Bill Woods carries a better run out of left hook, and he'll take that into the lower S's.
Yeah, Michael Chase thought he could gain there, but it just ran out of space. Got such a big group from 9th through to 20th here. Whoa, that's out wide. Bill Woods has gone wide through South Bend, got out into the dust, lost a couple of positions, coming back onto the racetrack at Oak Tree.
He's done well to catch
go
over
the crest, and the track drops away and gets you in trouble sometimes.
Yeah, like I was saying during the qualifying session there, that's one of those corners that's how hard are you willing to push it? Tires still coming up to temp, and these guys will be feeling the pressure coming into it a little bit faster than usual, maybe with the draft. Got a little overtake brewing here.
Change up front though. Michael Polasek's back to 3rd. Jared Collins and Joshua Soto have gone through. So from leading the race, Michael Polasek drops back into 3rd. Ryan Pucktill, Tim Wire, David Levine very close in this top 6 right now. So Jared Collins is going to lead the race.
Polasek knows the importance of fuel in this series, even with these GR86s and their gigantic fuel tanks. this could be a fuel play where he's going to try and ride in the draft a little bit during the early phase of this race.
So much pitch and roll in these cars with how much sort of tyre grip they've got, but still relatively street sprung.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stories about how they came to the spring rates that they run in the sim, but whichever story you believe, it creates a pretty singular experience driving these things around. Ian Giebler under some pressure from Nick Love here as they come up into the hill, into this double right-hander. And you can kind of see the front end trying to pick up that inside tire as they turn around Oak Tree and head on to the back straight. And a magnificent back straight it is. I think this really justifies the comparisons to the Nürburgring with how long it is, how much of a difference it makes. Seeing a little smoke in the background there. Haynes, you got anything?
Well, we'll look. John Hurley on the inside of the Oak Tree.
Synchronized. And everyone's done well to avoid it.
Group up front here, Jared Collins, Joshua Soto, Michael Polasek getting closer. Polasek thinking about a look down the inside back in a second place, and he will get it on Joshua Soto as Kyle Robertson gets a new fastest lap of the race in the next pack. So it stays really closely packed racing with a couple of groups for the lead, and then back here as well, Kyle Robertson now side by side with Nick Love. Again, real tough to go around the outside here. Love will hold on.
Okay, you're not kidding though. We got a group from 1st to 6th, 7th to 12th, and then 13th till way back there, maybe 20th. They're working hard out there for every inch.
This is the race lead where Polasek's worked his way back into second to the Oak Tree for the leader. It looks pretty tidy. Polasek gets a bit of a bounce. It doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad line.
Yeah, it's tough being Jared Collins here because you, on the one hand, you're trying to drive away, but you got this big long drafting straight in the middle of every lap to make sure that Polasek can just get right back up on your bumper before you go into some of the trickiest corners on the track.
Here's another group. So that would be Andy Kosick, Logan Sennhauser, and Kevin Glass. So holding stations at the moment over the last lap or two in the lead of the race, Jared Collins.
Yeah.
So who's positioned really well here is David Levine there in 6th.
Yeah, just hanging on to the back of that lead pack and kind of enjoying the benefits of all the draft from the guys ahead. Don't want to get too far off, but he and Tim Wire are kind of doing a strategy that, to be honest, I've seen Wire pull a lot of times, where they just stay in contact and they wait for the tragedy to unfold ahead.
Here's a trivia question for you, Devon. Levine's livery is a tribute to which team?
This is particularly cruel for the audience at home because I'm away from my home computer and can't see it except on the broadcast feed. It looks like Vodafone. It looks like is that a Mercedes livery? McLaren livery?
You'd think that, but you'd be wrong, because the windshield banner is Norton 360. It's definitely an Australian Supercars 888 Holden racing team, because of its Norton 360 windshield banner, which was an Australian sponsor, when they also had the Vodafone livery at the same time that McLaren and Mercedes did.
I'll have to go home and brush up on my trivia after I get back from vacation. See if I can stump you with one, Haynes.
Before they became Red Bull Racing Australia. Now he's side by side with Tim Wire, who's not quite keeping up the top 5, but I think is, for the most part. All 207s for this leading group. Nick Love behind us, a 208.2. Kyle Robertson slightly quicker.
Yeah, and it does look like we're just on pace with what Jared Collins was running in the warm-up and in the qualifying. So that says to me that Soto and Polisek are not pushing very hard behind right now. And in this second pack, we've got a little bit of action as drivers are starting to push. That looks like Kyle Robertson giving Nicholas Love a bit of a shove out front as they come up the lower S's. That's a scary place to bump draft.
Yeah, Alex Albert and Ian Giebler are running side by side, and this next two are going to try to get away.
And in a momentum car like this, when you see that opportunity, you gotta seize it.
Okay, Eminem.
Well, that was a good line through Oak Tree, but I think the draft's going to come into play here.
Yeah, for every pack now as well. It gets super close for the leaders too. And that's not quite a bump draft. Collins still leads Polisek into the roller coaster. Joshua Soto sitting in third.
Really quality competition, though. Just being able to see all these guys racing this close together this early in the race. It's good stuff. And honestly, a lot of faces here that will be familiar to anyone that shows up to a ChampCar event in the real world. We've got all kinds of folks that put cars on the grid. And so if you're the kind of person looking for your opportunity to get on track, this is the way to do it. Kyle Robertson makes a move into one. Takes the spot away with a little bit of help from Nick Love, who I think says, hey, Kyle, it's your turn to lead.
Well, Kyle Robertson's still got the fastest lap of the race, I think. Now, he probably got a pretty decent run in the slipstream, but it does still belong to him, so he's out front of this group now. 4.5 seconds behind the lead. So long pit stop or any other drama for anyone in the top 6, and you can see yourself not only inching towards a top 5 finish, but even towards a podium in Kyle Robertson or Nick Love or Alex Albert or Ian Giebel's shoes. Run past the south paddock. One of the smallest pit lanes on any track on iRacing. Can only hold like 30 cars or something. This is Ryan Carwile, 12th, back of this pack, just with a cumulatively massive slipstream down every straight and towards the roller coaster. Alex Harrison gets in a little deep there, and Ikossi and Giebler a tiny bit of time. But at the moment, this pack's speed is just how quick can Kyle Robertson go.
Yeah, and it's 40 minutes left on the clock, 45 minutes left on the clock. It is about being there at the end. So this is kind of that phase where guys are figuring out what they have, what the guys around them have, and just trying to put in the pace. Have to do a little bit of extra work as a team if you want to get your pack connected to the next one ahead. At the same time, though, when you're in the middle of this stuff, it feels so adrenaline filled. You got guys pushing you, living in your mirrors, peeking at you every time you take a slightly wide line into a corner. Whenever you get out of a real champ car and feel this kind of racing going on, it's been a good stint. I'm just starting to peek ahead and see where the back markers are because in a few more minutes we might start to see the leaders have to go by. A few. Definitely be a factor though in that second half of the race. Checking back in on the leaders, it looks like Colin's still holding on to the lead.
Someone's got the bluey livery. Hurts me to know that no matter what I do, I'll never be the most famous person from Brisbane because of that damn blue dog.
Hainsey would be disappointed to know how popular Bluey is up here in North America with the youth.
I'm vaguely aware of the global stardom of that animated dog. Jared Collins still leading the race from Michael Polasek and Joshua Soto. Stephen May's had a problem.
Kick into a replay here. Steve Vermetz having a bit of an issue there. I'd say that was probably hardware related as much as anything. And not just the steering that was attached to the car. Yeah. And that's kind of what tends to happen when a wheel disconnects mid-race. Your wheel will just default to 100% left. And not the one on the car, the one that's attached to his desk, even though it did lead to the left front getting ripped off that car.
So I say Jared Collins is going towards having the most laps led at this stage. Polasek was only up front for 2 or 3 laps. Robinson's group. Michael Chase is in an interesting spot there in 13th, just ahead of Mitchell Booth, JD Daniel, Aaron Brown, Justin Wilson.
He's having a good race. The other one I was going to shout out was running in 20th place right now, LaShawn Young-Dilworth. Sean's following Bowie Suin and Bill Woods around in 20th, but started in 30th place, already gained 10 spots on the grid. He's having a pretty solid race. What do we got here? Looks like we'll throw to it in just a second. Yeah, and so you can see LaShawn running here in the middle of a pack of, with a pack of Drive Trainer Motorsports folks, the second of the two black striped green cars. And the DTM guys always bring out a big crowd. Kind of curious to see if LaShawn can keep on making lap time and maybe overtake some of these guys ahead. Did have a pretty strong practice session and then a pretty tough qualifying session relative to the pace that we saw earlier. But racing with other folks around can be tough. Every once in a while from this overhead view, you'll get a glimpse of the just gigantic fuel cell that inhabits the back end of these GR86s. The bright red thing in there in the cockpit.
More than 20 gallons. There are some weird parts in this Toyota GR86 race car. Weird springs, weird fuel cell, weird exhaust, weird oil pan baffles. Bill Woods is just gonna hold on to Bowie Suin. What's weird about the oil pan baffles is there are none.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna remark. Here, that's a bad thing when you want to make a left-hand turn.
If you feel lonely, just remember that Toyota engines are even worse at pickup. Bill Woods just holding on to that spot at the lead of this group still for the moment, even if they're having a little bit of a look at him. Jared Collins still leading the race. Kyle Robertson still leading the group in 7th. Here's that traffic you were crossing your fingers for, Devon.
I just expect it. You know, in any good ChampCar race, your traffic management's going to matter, and it does on the virtual series too. So seeing how these folks get past our first lapper on the track, that's Curtis Lee, will be important to watch. Did seem like Soto was under a little bit of pressure, or putting a little pressure rather onto Polasek as they were coming up the upper S's.
Veen having to do some work in 6th place just to hang on to this group. Gonna need to be careful that he doesn't get dropped because he might struggle to do the leader's pace if he does. Just 8 tenths now behind Tim Wire. Where's the limit of the slipstream? Not sure. But it's a dangerous place to not be that hooked on.
They're going to catch this lap traffic, Curtis, in the lower S's, I think. Maybe as they head into NASCAR even. Which will be interesting, I think, for all. Move up the inside here from Collins. First 3 are back.
Curtis Lee goes wide, gets on the grass, whole group goes through.
But he has somewhat, because the top 3 are now about as close as we've seen him in the last 10 minutes.
Bit of lawn rearrangement by Joshua Soto.
Soto's never been one to shy away from using all the curb and then some. For those wondering, 41 out of 43 are still lapping out there. Actually, 42 out of 43 even. We're following Kyle Robertson and Nick Love now as they lead that train that goes from 7th all the way down to 12th. And you see a really nice line there through Hogpen for Nick Love, and he's going to get something from Kyle Robertson, who gets pushed a little wide, and we see a few people taking the pit lane. It's Alex Albert and Alex Harrison, virtual competitors and real life friends. Maybe a little bit of collaboration going on there, deciding that they want to get in an early pit stop.
Yeah, and just as Kyle Robertson ran wide out of the final corner, putting Nick Love up into 7th place, where he is right now. Pit stop's running a bit longer for Alex Albert than it is for Alex Harrison. Alex Albert's car's still up on the jacks. Alex Harrison is out of there.
I wonder if Albert accidentally took 4 or purposely took 4. Have to see. Harrison comes out into the middle of a lot of traffic, so I'm not sure that he'll be super happy about that outcome.
Yeah, just alongside
cars in the 30s.
Kevin Glass, and behind Cameron Sennhauser, John Nicholford, Logan Sennhauser, Brian Tidd, Kevin Collins. Of all of your American cultural delights, I never did get to go to Cracker Barrel.
Truly a shame. We'll have to put that on the list for the next trip. Leaders are coming up on some lappers again. Looks like that's Will Warren getting well out of the way. I swear, we don't tell them to do that. You are allowed to stay on the track when the leaders come by. But doing a good job staying out of the way as well.
See if we'll get a next pitting group. Well, yeah, here, Nick Love, Ian Giebler, Ryan Carwile.
Yeah, that whole group almost pits.
See how their pit stops compare. Alex Harrison, 15 seconds. Alex Albert, 32 seconds. Pit stops underway for Nick Love, Ian Giebler, Ryan Carwile as Bowie Sewin and LaShawn Young-Dilworth come in. Yeah, see, only some of them are going up on the tyre jacks there. So, Love stays down. Giebler stays down, and they're away and rolling. While the stop for Carwile goes on and on and on.
Things keep getting busy in the pit lane, and they're starting to get busy out front again. Josh Soto just gave a real shunt to Michael Polisek coming out of the lower S's. Back at the front. Now they're heading through the upper S's. But I think the tension is starting to ratchet up here in this front group. Who's going to be the first one to dive for the pit lane?
You feel like it'd have to be Collins, right?
Well, if he's going to run out of fuel. I don't think anyone's pitting because they're out of fuel right now, though.
Assumption would be that the other drivers are setting themselves up for an overcut, though.
You'd think so. depends on how good they have fuel numbers, because if you've been riding in the draft the whole time, you might not actually know what your natural consumption is. Or at least whatever tool you're using might not know. And they go past the pit exit, or pit entry.
Yeah, and of that second pack, Kyle Robertson's the only one left, remembering Harrison, Albert, Carwile, Giebler, everyone else pitted. So Kyle Robertson's all by himself in 7th place.
Yeah. Overtaking some lap traffic he is, but doing it all by himself.
So here's Giebler, just in behind Cameron Sennhauser, who hasn't stopped yet.
While we've got a moment, I feel like I should shout out the battle for 12th place right now. Orlando Harrell putting some pressure on Matt McGee. Matt running that TRD liveried car. It's the highest running Canadian in the race.
And there are a couple.
Who's the highest running Australia, Haynes?
Well, trying to work out if we bingo.
No, none? Dang it.
No,
One of your countrymen will show up.
It's the Healer family on Curtis Lee's car, I think.
I was thinking maybe someone was running a Bluey livery.
Can I claim David Levine? I think I was already trying to claim 6th place David Levine.
Lead pack is getting stacked up a little bit. We got them too wide.
It says Holden on the door.
Polisek was too wide with Soto. It looks like he's going to overcut like you expected. As Collins hits the lane.
Joshua Soto flashes his lights at Michael Polisek, which has got to mean, come on, let's get on with this. A bunch of the drivers pitting from in between them leaves David Levine in a little bit of a no man's land as Collins, Pucktel and Wire all head for their pit crews. And 2 of them will go up. Away we go. Pucktel's just going to jump Jared Collins by a tiny bit. Tim Wire just behind them.
Interesting. Getting some interesting reports about the tire strategy, but I don't want to ruin anyone's secret, so we'll let this pit stop sort itself out.
There's Polisek and Soto leading the race. Tiny bit of lap traffic for them. Not great at the oak tree. Gee, yeah, bit deer in the headlights, isn't it? All the traffic they keep coming up on.
I did that in the real world by accident, so could have just been an honest mistake too. It's a really deceiving corner because you get it 5 feet to the good on the braking and it feels like you could go 20 feet deeper, but you get it 5 feet to the wrong and you end up in the dirt.
Yeah, it just closes in and closes in on you as the corner keeps tightening and the wall's not that far away there at the oak tree. So Polisek's back to the lead of the race, just ahead of Joshua Soto. And Soto's heading in. Polisek staying out. David Levine's heading in. Kyle Robertson's still out behind them. And here he comes.
Interesting. So very curious to see what the differential in pit stops is going to be here. because we've seen a pretty consistent number showing up for the rest of the top 10 or so that have pitted. So far, Ryan Puckno with the fastest stop.
It mostly seems to have worked out pretty well for Joshua Soto. He's ahead of Pucktel, he's ahead of Collins.
Yeah, he's definitely held on to that spot. Even got a little bit of a gap. I don't think it'll be enough to break the toe. So what has Polisek got in the tank for this lap? 2:08 last time by. Best lap of the race to 2:07.5, but that's with some draft. So how's the in-lap?
Was the only driver left in the race who hasn't stopped, and Michael Polisek comes in. Oh, sorry, JD Daniel as well.
Daniel's got the lap in him? Oh no. It's Jeffrey Rockwell coming by. Ooh, little overshoot there for the leader. He comes off the jacks right away. That's a pretty quick stop. Not as quick. No, I think the quickest actually.
Yeah, Soto and Pucktel just battling behind. You see them, Soto leading, Pucktel leading Collins. Tim Wyers ahead of David Levine.
So Polisek's gone and managed to shave about 2.5 seconds off that pit stop with the fuel saving efforts in the first half. Only person even in the ballpark of that is JD Daniel, who managed to do the same relative to the folks around him. Alex Albert's the big loser in this rotation of pit stops. He was stationary for nearly 30 seconds, or over 30 seconds even, as he took 4 tires, I'm guessing. So he'll be hoping that that pays off in the second half of the race.
Looking at him now in 16th, just behind Bill Woods and Justin Wilson. Looking at 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. And now 2.5 seconds behind race leader Michael Polisek off the oak tree. Bill Salen in between them. Tim Wyer's got the charcoal Salens. Bill Salen's got the mustard.
I'm looking forward to someone showing up with a grill livery for the next one too.
What about that gap between first and second? It's 2.5 seconds. Michael Polisek here leading the race. And then Joshua Soto.
And with that little pit stop strategy, I think Polasek's pulled a bit of a coup here. He can hold this gap.
He's got to defend
interesting
it.
To see. Yeah, I was going to say it'll be interesting.
20 minutes.
It'll be interesting to see what the first full non-out lap looks like. Because it was a 2:07.9 for Soto last time by. And VIR ran a 2:07.4 with the help of some draft. So what will the front end of that group look like? And will they have what it takes to chase down Polasek?
Of course, they don't need to chase down 2.5 seconds. They need to chase down 1.5 seconds. And then the slipstream will do the rest. So it's not that far away. It's one mistake from Polasek, but he's got a bit of pace to apply now that he's been saving. Soto and Puchtel and Collins need to not put a foot wrong as well.
And Polasek really kind of shown off the precision that our champions tend to have. Just inch perfect across the curbs, that roller coaster, and through the hog pen. Especially that left side curve before you turn right.
Well, it's a new personal best lap for Michael Polasek. It's 0.3 short of being the fastest lap of the race. But it's a new PB for Michael Polasek, a new PB for Jared Collins.
Josh Soto's begging for a push. Gotta think.
Oh, he's got a massive slide and a tank slapper there. It's going to cost him some time. He's off the track. He's letting Puchtel and Collins go.
Interesting. I didn't catch the start of that. Just pushing too hard, maybe. I'll have to see it on the replay. Coming down the front stretch, everything's looking normal. Not getting that push he was dreaming of course. Things get close going through one. The issue will show up here as he gets into NASCAR. He's just a little late on the turn-in, maybe a little late on the braking. And it's easy to do to get it wrong out there. Not sure why he jumped outside. Maybe just didn't want to hold up the other guys. But a little bit of pressure, and all of a sudden Polasek's going to have 2 seconds here when they come to the line, if not more. And critically, the guys behind him in second are racing. As we see a defensive move there from Puchtel and Collins.
Yeah, they absolutely would have thought they could catch Polasek, and then Soto has that mistake. Then it becomes more difficult. Kyle Robertson, one of the last drivers to pit, has come out between Ian Giebler and Alex Harrison. He's on the back of Giebler through the hog pen.
It's that driver psychology showing up when you're under pressure. Whether it's pressure from the front or pressure from behind, you got to have a cool head.
So that's Polasek up the road. Second, third, fourth. Joshua Soto is trying to get the band together. He's trying to get them all playing from the same sheet. And I think they are now. That's GR86 Centipede through the climbing S's.
That was good, Bush.
Not enough. Polasek still getting away from them. Here goes take two.
It's tricky because even with the really long straightaways we have here, it's one of those tracks where it's right on the line between a leapfrog versus a push. And these GR86s, they don't push as well as you might expect for, a low-powered momentum car. Ooh. Especially not when you put the tires on the dirt like Collins did just there. Made up a couple tenths that time, though.
Not really.
No, they didn't. I was misreading the columns there.
Joshua Soto might be getting a bit frustrated with this, but it was his own error that cost him.
Yeah, and despite the size of this track and the sort of wide variety of corners, it's a track that doesn't allow an easy overtake. Probably the best passing zone is turn number 1, but you don't get a huge run in these cars to get alongside really easy. So if Soto wants to lead them back up there, he's going to have to do some work to get there first.
Really positive signs for Michael Polasek, whose lead's now out past 5 seconds. No matter what combination of Puckdell, Collins and Soto do, they're struggling. Tim Wire had a mistake that seems to have cost him. So he's back to 6th, and he's almost lost touch with the group ahead. David Levine just staying close enough. Nick Love on an island in 7th. And Ian Giebler battling Kyle Robertson. Robertson gets ahead going into roller coaster. Kyle Robertson goes into 8th. Ian Giebler 9th. Alex Harrison off the back of them in 10th. Chase runs 11th, just ahead of JD Daniel. Wide variety of flags for our drivers today. Plenty of flags of the USA, but JD Daniel's got Antigua and Barbuda. I don't know how to pronounce that country, if I'm honest with you. Jamaica, I know how to pronounce that. That's Kyle Robertson and a lot of his teammates. We're suing with the flag of Hong Kong. Matt McGee with maple leaf on the Canadian flag. And then there's a few ones I'm not so sure about. Like, I don't think Michael Polasek is actually from South Georgia in the South Sandwich Islands. He's from New Jersey. And Joshua Soto is not from Antarctica. He's from Florida. Oh, Bill Woods is going to lean on Zach Balthazar a little bit. Sorry, Mitchell Booth and Justin Wilson.
And they all more or less end up pointing the right way, but it looked like Justin Wilson almost got inside of Mitchell Booth there for a second. Whether that was netcode or what, I'm not entirely sure.
Well, Wilson's got a meatball flags with 5 laps left. He's going to have to pit again. The front right is bad.
It's a shame too, because Booth and Woods were having a really good battle back and forth. I was actually going to call us over to it. They've been fighting over 12th place, cats and dogs, 13th place, cats and dogs this whole race.
David Levine drops away from the podium group. Tim Wire catches him. Michael Polasek's lead, 5.6 seconds.
And he's just putting in lap after lap right in line with his best. His best is a 207.35, and he just ran a 207.37.7. So just 200s slower than his best of all time. This Polasek, he's just flying out there.
10 minutes to go. Still plenty of patience being shown by Jared Collins in third, Joshua Soto in fourth. So they've all fallen in line behind Ryan Puchtel in second. They are not catching Michael Polasek.
They're catching Curtis Lee, though. Lee about to go down another lap to these guys. We'll see. We'll see if he decides to keep it on the track for this one. They'll be going through the upper S's together. And it's not so scary to hit those curbs when you're in the simulator and, you know, the wheel shakes a bit, but man, it takes some guts to get on them when you're in the real world car.
Could be nicer to Curtis. Curtis stopped lap 3, then the leaders lapped him, then the leaders pit. Now they're only going to put him 1 lap down again.
Oh, I take it back. I apologize.
Here comes the freight train.
He does a good job of keeping it on track and keeping it out of the way.
Curtis Lee, more like courtesy.
Yeah, I was double checking to see if there was a Canadian flag next to that name. Must be from Minnesota or something.
Don't know, but I think with Michael Polasek just crossing the start-finish line, doing the pace he's doing, that it's 4 more laps in this race. My oh my, is the track temperature up as well, way higher than it was in qualifying.
Yeah, one name that might provide us a little excitement is Alex Albert, who, after taking that 20 extra seconds on the stop for 4 tires, is suddenly on the back of the battle pack that is fighting over 13th place. That's Bill Woods, who's now defending from Mitchell Booth, who's making a move around the outside, gets it on the brakes real late into turn number 1. Hard to get the power down, though, and Rick Wilson's going to try and take the spot away from Booth. We've seen how passing around the outside of NASCAR goes, too. They'll all stay in the same order, but Albert's going to be hard-pressed to find his way around this group here. He's certainly got the tire advantage, though.
Bill Woods dive into the apex to try to defend his position there. Albert's nose a bit crunkled after what I think was the contact with Wilson a couple laps ago. Bill Woods leads them up the hill. Mitchell Booth, Quishon, and Alex Albert.
Tim Wire is lining up a move on Dave Levine for 5th place.
Oh, and Soto's lining up a move on Ryan Puchtel. So Puchtel's dropping back. Jared Collins up in a second. Joshua Soto through in a third, and there's drama at the top of the hill.
And that's Wire and Levine. They were too wide going into roller coaster, and I think Wire might have just squished a little bit more than was available, unfortunately. Luckily for the two of them, they managed the really hard hit into the wall. But they both lose a bunch of time. Might put them back into the grasps of the pack behind them.
Gloves off between second, third, and fourth. Soto battling again with Ryan Puchtel, needing to keep him behind. Booth gets a meatball flag. I think he's had some contact with Rick Wishon. Alex Albert's gone past both of them and Bill Woods.
Bill Woods trying to take that spot back, and he will have the outside line. Better braking zone, but Alex Albert's turned a lot of laps around here. And so he'll keep it even, but Bill Woods gets the better run out the exit. And this little kink before NASCAR is really important to set up right to make sure you get the right line through NASCAR and then into left hook. And Bill Woods does a good job of that. Holds on to 13th place. And with 2 to go, things are starting to get a little spicy out there.
Joshua Soto is looking for second place. He's alongside Jared Collins, heading towards the roller coaster. Never sure which side of the road's the correct place to be. The road kinks slightly to the left before going into the right-hander. And so the inside for the right-hander is Joshua Soto. Jared Collins giving up nothing, forced up high on the curb, still side by side, heading towards the roller coaster. This costs a whole heap of time, but I still want to be where Joshua Soto is, and I think he goes through in a second. Now Puchtel alongside Collins, 2 laps to go.
Yeah, at the top of the hill there, Collins held valiantly onto the position, but it ended up costing him by the time they got to Hogpen.
Soto defending the inside line a little bit, checks up Ryan Puchtel. Jared Collins tries to go all the way around the outside, but that doesn't work.
Kyle Robertson, Nick Love, and Alex Harrison are all hitting almost 3 wide there.
Yeah, Nick Love lost a bit of time last lap. Kyle Robertson's ahead of him right now. Ian Giebler just in the back there as well. Gee, they're not far behind Levine and Wire, are they, after that contact between those two?
No, they're not.
I can see a top 5.
Yeah, and they're pushing like they can.
Here they go on the back straight. Nick Love's got a decision or 2 to make. Is he going for the position? Is he pushing Kyle Robertson? I think he's pushing Robertson. Yeah, that sure looks like what he's doing. I think they can catch Levine and Wire. Michael Polasek starts the final lap of the race with an 8-second lead over Joshua Soto, Ryan Puchtel, and Jared Collins. Soto needing to fight for his life. Collins looking around the outside there. And David Levine and Tim Wire. Oh, is that a bit deep? Is it marbles out wide for Collins? I think it is. Puchtel goes through into 3rd.
In the background, you can almost see Robertson running wide, and he went all 4 tires on the dirt. That let Robertson have a look around the outside. Or sorry, Love have a look around the outside.
The Glove's gonna try to hold his own here versus Kyle Robertson. Still side by side. Now Alex Harrison a little bit alongside Kyle Robertson to head up the hill. Bill Woods ahead of Alex Albert, diving his nose to the inside. That's all over the grass, heading up the hill for Kyle Robertson as he's in behind Nick Love, trying to fend off Alex Harrison into the South Bend. Just gets escorted a little bit wide before Oak Tree. Ian Giebler's closed up both of them so much on this lap. Here's Michael Polasek. He waited till the halfway point. He made his pit stop. Time runs out on the clock now. He'll get the checkered flag at the end of this one. 8 seconds now clear of Joshua Soto. He's shown the speed that he had and absolutely applied it in the back half of the race. Michael Polasek, back-to-back wins in the ChampCar iRacing Series to extend his lead.
Puckdell did his best down the back straightaway, but Josh Soto's weaving was enough to keep him at bay as Soto crosses the line in second. Puckdell takes the third step on the podium. Jared Collins goes out for a wild ride in the dirt, and he'll hold on to fourth place. David Levine and Tim Wire are going to cross the line in that order. Tim Wire trying to get a run as they come to the front straight and to the line, but it's not quite enough. Kyle Robertson, Nick Love, and Alex Harrison aren't going to finish in that order. It's going to be Nick Love, Robertson, then Harrison. A little bit of a mix-up on the final lap. Ian Giebler and JD is in 10th. JD Daniel and Michael Chase, 11th, 12th. Bill Woods is holding off Alex Albert. We'll see if there's enough draft here for Albert to make a difference. Rick Wishen's behind him. And Albert's going to get a run up the inside. He gets squeezed, and they wreck as they cross the line. But Albert wasn't able to get there. Wonder if Bill was running out of fuel. LaShawn's going to cross the line. We got Mac McGee, repping Canada, crossing the line in 16th. I got Bowie Suin, that's LaShawn in 17th, Bowie Suin and Aaron Reed in 18th and 19th. Chase Berry in 20th. Logan Senhauser is going to get a spot from Orlando Harrell on the final lap for 21st. Ryan Carwile crosses the line just behind Zach Balthazar, who takes 23rd. Sean Roberts 25th, Cameron Senhauser 26th, 27th is Kevin Glass. He's holding off Andy Cossack. Juan Samuel Miguel is 29th. John Nicholford 30th. John Hurley 31st. He's on the outside and at the line. He takes it from Brian Tidd. Kevin Collins is going to be our final driver on the lead lap. 33 drivers on the lead lap out of 42 finishers, and they put on a show for us today, Haynes.
Yep, exactly right. Let's take a look. Michael Polasek wins from Joshua Soto, Ryan Puckdell, Jared Collins, and David Levine stays inside of the top 5. Tim Wire there in 6th. Nick Love fending off Kyle Robertson, Alex Harrison, and Ian Giebler completing the top 10. JD Daniel 11th, Michael Chase 12th, Bill Woods 13th, Alex Albert 14th, Rick Wishon, Matt McGee, LaShawn Young Dilworth, Bowie Sue and Aaron Reed, and Chase Barry completing the top 20. Logan Senhauser, Orlando Harrell, Zach Balthazar, Ryan Carwile, Sean Roberts, Cameron Senhauser, Kevin Glass, Andrew Cossack, Juan San Miguel, and John Nicholford, the top 30. And John Hurley in 31st. Brian Tidd, Kevin Collins, Jeffrey Rockwell, Curtis Lee, Bill Salen, Nick Sassak, Steve Hermé, Mitchell Booth, and Will Warren. And then Aaron Brown and Justin Wilson will be classified finishers. Christopher Reagan didn't complete enough laps. We'll speak to some of our drivers now. Race winner Michael Polasek joins us. Congratulations are in order once again as you execute perfectly at VIR.
Yeah, it was a very interesting race. At first, I tried to run away at the front. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the necessary gap because Jared and Joshua, they both were able to fall in line and catch back up. And unless you're like 2 seconds a lap quicker in these cars, you're just not going to be able to pull away. So I dropped back, saved fuel, and was able to perfectly execute strategy. And once I got the gap, I was just able to full push and make sure that they weren't able to enter that 2 second draft window.
Well, congratulations to you. Now, VIR is an interesting track, but you say it is relatively slipstream heavy with the front straight, the back straight. Seems like you guys are flat out up the S's as well, and you close up in so many places if you're close enough.
I would say it's more a characteristic of the car rather than the track itself. These cars have huge amounts of draft to them. So unless the track is extremely technical, for example, like Winton or not even Long Beach. Long Beach is still affected by draft. Sonoma, you're not going to be able to run away at the vast majority of tracks. So it's very much a racer's strategy of putting yourself in the right position to end up on top of the last lap.
Well, it's great to hear from you. Great to see you celebrate another win. Who'd you like to thank?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, thank you to ChampCar for putting on their real life series. I've done quite a few races in that, and I've enjoyed all of them. Thank you to ChampCar as well for putting on the iRacing series, and thank you guys for broadcasting this series. It's always great to show up and run with everybody here. Thank you to GeForce Racing and Track Level Up, and also thank you to WSR Esports.
Well, yeah, again, great to hear from you, and we'll see you next time out.
Thank you very much.
Ryan Puchtel finished third, and he joins us. Well, once Polisek got away, looks like a really, really entertaining fight broke out between yourself, Jared Collins, and Josh Soto.
Yeah, it was a bit of a MX5 race there. I was getting a bit of push from Jared, and then he smartly made a pretty good move towards the end of the race to pass me. Got overtaken by 2 cars there, but I know there was a lot of time left, and there was going to be a lot of switching around of places.
What's it like racing the GR86, such close quarters?
It's not too bad, actually. Like I said, it's actually somewhat similar to the MX5 in a way. Yeah, I mean, handles decent. You know, I felt like I had the confidence too. So.
And coming away with a podium against Soto, against Collins, and then also David Levine and Tim Wyer following closely, did it just become more strategic around the pit stop and then the final stint then?
Yeah, I was thinking towards the end of the race where I want to be. I knew I wanted to finish ahead of Jared, so I was kind of prioritizing that. Yeah, pit stop, I took a front left tire there just to be safe, just because of the track temps.
And what's the balance feel like immediately after the pit stop with that sort of tire strategy?
Really can't notice too much of a difference. I did practice it. Yeah, I just took it maybe a little dialed back, just on the first couple corners there, just to make sure. But overall, I didn't feel anything too crazy.
Well, it's great to hear from you again. Congratulations on the podium, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Great to hear from some of the drivers on our podium. We'll see them again in not too long, August 27th at Mid-Ohio in the MX5. Sounds like Ryan Puchtel might be looking forward to that one. We'll see what kind of racing that generates. But there's one order of business we've still got to try to cover off today. Every 4 races, if you completed every race between 1 and 4 and every race between 5 and 8, you go into the draw to win a ChampCar prize. We've already drawn Jeffrey Rockwell from rounds 1 to 4. Now, round 8 was completed last time, and Tim Wyer, Cameron Senhauser, Matt McGee, Alex Harrison, Michael Polisek, Jared Collins, Ian Giebler, Aaron Brown, Orlando Herrell, all on the spinner. So, for a ChampCar prize, let's spin the wheel and see who's going to get it.
Oh,
Well, he didn't get on the podium today, but I think he can still be pretty happy with that. Jared Collins completing all of the races across the summer and picking up the random draw prize of 250 champ bucks that he can put towards racing wheel to wheel in the ChampCar Endurance Series. Congratulations to Jared. Devin, we only have to wait a couple of weeks till Mid-Ohio round 10.
Yeah, and I'm confident these guys will put on another great show for us Saints. It was good to be back. Good to watch these skilled drivers go and put on a great race.
And congratulations again go to Michael Polasek, winner of round 9 of the ChampCar iRacing Series in 2025 at VIR. Live on HJBC and ChampCar Live. We have been HJBC, David Haynes with Devin Peters and Michael Derby. Never too late to join us if you want to race in the ChampCar iRacing Series. Information on Discord or on the ChampCar forum. Love to see you, love to have you. See you at Mid-Ohio.